evening and welcome to another edition of On the Pitch. This is Jim Naprostek here for DuhawkFootball.com. I'm joined tonight with head coach Dan Rothert and the assistant men's coach Matt Pucci. Guys, thanks for joining me on the show tonight.
Great to be here.
First off, I want to congratulate the both of you on a very impressive 16-2-3 mark to complete your regular season. You dropped a tough one to Rothert, but guys were able to get revenge in the conference tournament and are in the automatic qualifying bid into the NCAA tournament. So congratulations to both of you. I know it's been a long stretch. Starting, as soon as your season ended last year, you guys began work on this season. And so congratulations on behalf of Duhawk Football.
Thank you.
First, let's take a look at some standout players that you guys have had this year. Leading goal scorer and one of your captains, Donald St. George, is currently on the 2011 season, has 8 goals and 6 assists. Coach Rothert, Donald's obviously experienced some knee problems in the past. What does it mean to this team to be able to rely on such a sure foot like him and, his leadership? Where do you think it's taken this year's team?
Yeah, he has the maturity. He's been around the program. He's been, playing college soccer for a long time. Being a fifth-year man for us or a fourth-year man for us, and he played, at Marquette for a year, and he's just got that maturity. But the biggest thing about him is I'm just happy that he's able to have had a full season. He had 2 years in a row where he tore ACLs, during the season, one on each leg, and the guy has battled back and maintained his level of play, which is amazing to me. Become a premier player on our team in the conference and in the country. To be quite honest, and for him to be able to do that and just prove that, hey, this is where I could have been and this is where I wanted to be. It's been big for everybody, I think, to show our younger guys that perseverance pays off. To show himself that, hey, I can do this, and I did it for the right reasons and things like that. I came back for the right reasons, so I give Don a lot of credit.
And Coach Pucci, the guy who's leading your team in assists right now, Kevin Cavers, who also has 4 goals to his name, had a great freshman campaign for the Duhawks. Had some growing pains, but came up with that huge goal last year against Dominican. And, again, this year, as we can see by his statistics, he seems to be a pass-first type of player. And, how important is to have him in the middle of the pitch for not only Donald, but also Brad Joyner and Chris Comstock and Camilo?
Yeah, I think last year he was we knew what we were going to get with him. He was going to be one of those top players coming in, and I think as a sophomore he's definitely broken out a little bit and kind of moved out of the shadow of some other guys like Miguel and all those guys. So he's actually done very well, providing us with opportunities to score. And with a team like ours that has scored, I think we're ranked 3rd or 4th in the country right now in goals. He's definitely one of the main orchestrators behind that, seeing those open passes and those lanes. And he's also been pretty good with us for dead ball situations with corner kicks and free kicks and whatnot, and giving our forwards an opportunity to score.
And with him being an underclassman, it doesn't seem like this team is, 100%. The seniors always have the word. It seems to be like there's leadership from all over the field and all over in the locker room. Where does Kevin rank as far as some of that on the field leadership?
Oh, I definitely think he's the guy that kind of gives us a laugh from time to time when stuff gets a little heated. Keeps our focus in the right direction and keeps us having fun as well. So,
and in the back, I can't go without talking about Nate Dubois, your keeper that helped you on your way to the first 2 Final Fours in the program's history, coach. But also this year has come back with a 16-2-2 mark and a .75 goals against average. After going through a couple of other keepers in the past couple of years, how does it feel to have Nate back there in the net, and what do you expect from him on any given night?
Yeah, people say it and you talk about it. I really do believe Nate might be one of the best keepers in the country at our level or at any level. To be honest, he's just a fantastic athlete, shot stopper. He reads the game so well. He's a leader back there, and it's a fantastic presence back there that really. His presence is a big key to our success. But yeah, I think you're right. I think we went through a couple keepers over a couple years there where he was gone, and he tested out the waters at the Division I level. Found that our program was where he wanted to come back and end his career, and I give him a lot of credit for doing that.
Let's take a look back. 2010 had a little bit of a rough regular season. Probably wasn't to the level that everyone was expecting after coming in as the preseason number 7. And you guys pulled off a thriller down in St. Louis last year in the NCAA tournament, but unfortunately your season came to an end up in the wintry Wisconsin-Oshkosh. But just taking a look from your mindset from the both of you going into every game as a part of 2010 to how you guys approach your games and how they play out in 2011, what have been some of the major differences?
Well, I think we're not living in the shadows anymore with this group. I think last year's group lived in the shadows of a group of guys, that senior class from 2009 who had been to 2 Final Fours and 2 Sweet 16s and lost a total of less than 10 games in their 4 years. And, there's some big losses there with talented players and guys trying to find their roles last year. Maybe we didn't find them quite as well as we'd like to. It came together at the end of the year finally, and we had to win 2 games just to get into the NCAA tournament. We came from behind in both those games. We won, and then the NCAA tournament, we come from behind in 2 games and get 2 wins to get to the Sweet 16 and kind of put us back on level ground where we expected to be, but it wasn't with a lot of rough patches. So, I think this year's group is different. It's a lot of guys that maybe been on reserve team in the last 2 years. Guys that have stepped up their game, guys that are new to the program, freshmen, guys coming back from injuries like Donald, and then you have our consistent guys like a Chris Comstock who's been a varsity guy 4 years and kind of knows where the program's been and where it needs to be and has some leadership there. So it's a mixed group. It's a group that understands our legacy because of the older guys, but it's also a fresh group that has their own goals.
Coach Pucci, if you look at the box scores from all season long, you guys are playing double the amount of players that a majority of teams are playing. Every game, it seems like there's anywhere from 22 to 25 guys that find their way into the lineup. Obviously, it's been working for you guys. In essence, you have 2 complete teams. When most teams struggle to put together a full team, how confident are you not only in your starting 11, but also fresh set of legs. Second line? As a coach, where's your confidence level at with those guys? Left in the and are you going to continue that philosophy now that we're in the NCAA tournament?
Oh yeah, we have tremendous confidence in every single player from the 1st to the 25th on our roster, and I think what's more important to the players isn't the coaches' confidence; it's their players' confidence. So when the players like Donald and Cavers and Joyner come subbing off, 25, 30 minutes into a game, they're high-fiving and they're cheering them on, and a lot of our big goals have come from that second group late in the first half. So I think the more that happens and the more the energy feeds from one guy to the next, even the big names to the last guy off the bench, everybody's getting it done, and I think that just keeps that confidence rolling.
Have you seen it pay off already this year? And as we move into the tournament now, you expect to reap even more benefits from being that deep?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a perfect example was the conference tournament itself when we had a goal with a minute left in the conference championship. Johnny Romahart scored the game winner as a freshman. He also scored a goal 2 days before in the conference semis, and that's just a tribute to all the players and all the confidence that's just spread from the top down. So,
Coach Rothert, would you say that you guys are playing your best soccer right now?
I think we've built a very good season, obviously. I mean, I think, we go into 5-0 at Dominican a month ago. It's pretty good soccer. But, I like to think that we're ready. I'd like to think that we're relatively healthy. I think that our depth is going to be a big key, like you just talked about. I think that's something that has kept us healthy this year and kept us, with a different mindset, the next man in philosophy. So even if there is an injury, there's no being upset about it. We move on and we have a next group to go in. A totally different mentality maybe than in years past, which is fun. It's fun to have every day in practice the guys know that they're, this group, the second group as we call them, they know they're going to play. And in years past, maybe they knew they weren't going to play, so the level of intensity in practice isn't there, and the guys aren't battling like they would every day. And we just got off the field with practice, a couple hours ago, and it was the last drill is usually, a lot of fun, and we have a good time with it. And guys are taking balls off the face and diving at it with their chest to stop it, and just the intensity, but yet combining that intensity with fun. That's the mantra of our program. Is that type of thing. We have a blast, but we're going to add the intensity and play some soccer, and I think this group gets that.
Coach, it'd be a little unfair to say that there haven't been some disappointments this year. Namely, I think the first one that comes to mind is that 3-3 draw against Central. It was followed up by a great performance the next day. But not only the Central shortcoming, but dropping a 2-0 decision to Luther. Where do you feel that your team has been able to learn from those matches and then be able to move forward and gain valuable experience from those?
Well, I think that one of the major things about that was we knew we'd get another shot at them. We were able to put that Central game behind us pretty quick with the Dominican game and really hoped to see them again. Once the tournament draw came out, we saw that we had Central and then we had a path to Luther. So we got real excited with that. We knew that's what we wanted. We wanted to show the conference and everybody else that we, deserved to be the champions, and to do that we had to take out the two teams that gave us a little bump in the road. So with that draw, it was pretty exciting and highly motivational. It just took care of itself.
The goal that you scored against Luther in the conference championship was the first one that their defense, and namely O'Mara, their keeper, gave up to the entire Iowa Conference. While that's a great accomplishment, you got to believe that there's going to be other teams that have a similar, whether it's 4 or 5 defenders, all the time behind the ball, and then when you move into the offensive side of the pitch, you're going to try to pack the box. It's not the first time you've seen that, but what was it that worked so well against Luther that you feel is going to be able to pay off down the road?
I think our speed on the wing is it's going to be tough for anybody to compete with. And the fact that we keep throwing more horses out there every time and just keep going at you, and our ability to finish has been pretty strong. You look at the records in the country right now. So our ability to score is, I think, what's going to take us over the edge at this point.
Saturday, you guys will kick off the NCAA tournament here at the Rock Bowl. I'm sorry,
Tomorrow.
Friday. It's almost here. Tomorrow night, Minnesota Morris comes into play at 7:30 here in the Rock Bowl. You guys have got to be excited. Guys on the team know how important this part of the year is, but as a coaching staff, are you anxious? Are you excited? What are some of the emotions that you're going through right now, Coach Rothert?
It's an exciting time. I would say we've been here before, and I think that both Matt and I have been in this situation every year for the last however many years. But this is where we expect to be. So I don't think we're ever going to get too high or too low, and I think you probably know me well enough by now that I don't do that. But at the same time, it's a real exciting time. I get excited about it. I get excited thinking about it. I can't wait for the next game. Let's go. Let's get to that game and get that going. But always things to work on in between. So certainly an exciting time for our program. But I'm more excited for our kids, our student athletes. I think that they get 4 years to experience. I can experience this every year the rest of my life, and hopefully I will have successful teams. But I think for them to be able to experience the NCAA tournament is special.
Coach Pucci, Minnesota Morris is going to come in here. They don't want to go home. They're ready to continue their season. You guys know, everyone knows what's on the line. What do you expect to see from Minnesota Morris? Are they a team like Dominican where they're going to come out and try to push and attack from the get-go? Or do you maybe see them a little bit more like Luther, who's going to sit back and try to play either for the PKs or try for a counter?
I think they're going to come out pretty excited. Their first ever appearance in the NCAAs, and I think they got a good group of seniors out there that have been working for this for 4 years. So I think they're going to bring a lot of energy to it, and show us that they belong here. At this point, there's 61 teams, and every team got here, and deservedly so. So there's really no easy pushover game at this point, and we play our game. We should be able to take advantage of some of the weaknesses and get that win. But other than that, it's not going to. I don't know if they're going to defend, from the start. I think there's going to be a lot of nervous energy coming from that side, first time ever. So hopefully we can take advantage quickly and get one on the board.
Coach Rothert, we saw a little bit of a switch against Luther. You moved Brad Joyner, who'd been playing in that center forward slot. You moved him to the outside, and you swapped Camilo in to play that center forward position. Is that something that we're going to continue to see throughout the tournament, or are we going to move Camilo back to the outside and put Brad right there next to Donald?
Top secret. We're doing something totally different. I'm kidding. I think we'll go back to our original. What we've been doing all year. We did it last game just because of, we thought with Brad's left foot, being a left-footed player on the left side, and his pace and ability with the ball to be able to get around the end against Rothert, which he was able to do a few times, which caused some problems for them. We thought that's how we're going to be able to get some goals. We don't know nearly as much about Minnesota Morris as we did about Rothert, who we've seen, had seen before and see every year and things like that. But, what we do know about him is I think, through the middle of the field we might have some success. And, I think putting Brad back in the middle is probably going to be our best interest. So.
Now, if we encounter an opponent down the line who maybe is a little weak on the outside, should we expect to see, maybe even an in-game switch where you move Brad to the outside or any kind of other switches should we expect to see?
Yeah, that's the type of coaches we are. We're not there are teams that might do the same thing the whole game or every game, and they play their style and things like that. We play to our strengths, and if there's a certain strength that's working for us in a particular game, we might try to exploit that a little bit. So if there are times to exploit that and move a Brad Joyner to the left wing to use his left foot or anything like that, with someone else, different strengths, we're going to certainly find that.
Coach Pucci, you were part of that first team that brought Loras to the Final Four, stage that, as far as I understand, no other athletic program here at the college has ever reached. As you guys get ready to start the NCAA tournament, in the back of your mind, you've got to be, having some dreams and some, reminiscing thoughts about what it was like, because that was only 4 years ago. Talk to me a little bit about, what was so special and unique about not only the squad in 2007, but also in 2008, and what was it about them that brought you guys to the Final Four?
Well, I think the excitement in 2007 was it was the first time and it's never been done before. And, we had a good feeling about where we were going with this regular season we were having. Hadn't lost a game and knocked off some pretty high-ranking opponents. So once the NCAA tournament started, we just kind of, were still excited. And with every win, we were getting more excited. And, the Final Four was at Disney World. So it was one of those things where once we got there, it was just like, oh, this is what we've been waiting for this whole time and everything. I think the difference with 2008 was, they'd been there before, so getting back there, it was more of a business. We've been here, we've seen all this, we've seen the excitement, we've dealt with these, all the extra stuff that goes along with the Final Four and the T-shirts and the dinners and all that stuff, and it was more of a focused about the game. And it wasn't the Disney World distraction like that was as well. But I think that's the same thing with these guys. Is these guys, that senior class has been to one in 2008, and the rest of them have heard about how awesome it's been and what an experience. And I think this year, with the guys that have been there already, that excitement of just getting there isn't good enough anymore, and they have higher expectations. So,
Coach, you feel that this depth that you've been able to build through the recruiting process, and not only that, but you got to pat yourself on the back for the coaching that you've done with these guys, to bring in a lot of raw talent, kids who have played in other kinds of systems, and teach them the way that you play here. Do you feel that with what you've kind of employed this year, that this team has not only what it takes to get to the Final Four in San Antonio, but also potentially a national championship?
I think we're one of the elite teams. I'll say that. I think to win a national championship and to get to the Final Four, you got to be an elite team, and you got to have. But you have to be able to work through some things and also get a little bit of luck on your side too. I mean, Matt will tell you the first thing, penalty kicks is a mystery, and we lose in penalty kicks in the Final Four to Middlebury in 2007. We thought we were the better team that day, and a little bit of luck on the side there. So you got to get a little bit of that too, but you create your own luck, and I certainly believe that, and by getting more chances and those type of things as well. So I think the depth we have is kind of a new philosophy that we kind of said, we need to be a little bit deeper. We need to be able to have this type of a team. Honestly, kind of stole it from Messiah. To be honest, that's what they do. They play 22 guys every game, and something for us that we looked at like, how can we be a little bit better? And it's trust in everybody, and I think that trust that we have in everybody has made a big difference. And guys believe in each other. Guys believe in the next man in, like I talked about earlier, and I think maybe that's something that could take us over the top.
Alrighty, well, coaches, thanks for joining me tonight. We got a big game tomorrow night. We're going to take this one game at a time, like you guys have both been telling me all season long, and hopefully this won't be the last time we talk. And I think through our talk tonight, we've seen that there's a bright future ahead, and but certainly there's a high expectation for this year's group. So thank you for joining me again tonight, and good luck in the NCAA tournament.
Thanks, Jim.